and some are just people from the GTA coming from across our own country. Makes sense, it's a mix. It's a mix of folks. Yeah. We have, when I was a member of Parliament, we fought to get more of an economic immigration plan for Northern Ontario, for Sudbury. Yeah. So it's called the Rural Northern Immigration Partnership. Yeah. What we received in the last 5 years is about 500 positions a year. Yeah. Right? That have come through that program. And now, at least we're at 3,000 something that have just directly from that program alone, and with spouses and kids. Yeah. 98% have stayed. Mm-hmm. So this again
which is good. Which is great. Yeah, because it increases the tax, like more people pay tax.
Plus, often they're filling up jobs, right?
Yes.
And there's jobs often that the employers were looking for people, couldn't find people. Right. These are not people say, oh, they're taking my jobs. They're not, because
I've never.
I don't believe in that. People do believe in that, but it was but it's very small. Yeah. But it's
I do have a thing on that once you.
Sure, yeah. But to me, listen, Sudbury is built on the back of immigrations, of immigrants, waves and waves and waves over the years.
Yeah, a lot of the country.
Yeah, exactly. But Sudbury is a microcosm of our country.
Yes.
English majority, Francophones, right? Indigenous, that play a very important role. And then waves and waves of immigrants, right? That have come in and shaped our city, that's why we have the Bridge of Nations.
Yes.
Right? Which is that for me is what makes Sudbury a great place to live. Because of all these different cultures, different languages, different foods, it's amazing. But now I'll just go back on the growth side.
Yes, please.
Right? The growth has been quite fast, quite quickly. And when I ran in 2022, I said, that is putting the pressure points that we're seeing today. When I ran in 2022, I said my goal was by 2050 to get to 200,000. We're at 192, 193.
Yeah, so 2025.
Thank you.
Yeah,
we're going to get to 200,000 by 2030, if not before.
Right? Yeah, it'll be close. Yeah,
but I think that's going to slow down a bit. But at the same time, to me, is creating a city that we create the density to create the tax base to keep our taxes. We talked about budget, the pressures on the budget, the needs for a great city that we have.
The more people paying it, the less we all pay.
Exactly. That's why in the GTA they pay a bit less taxes, but they have a lot more services.
And to your point too, what we mentioned earlier, we have a way bigger city.
Yes. The size,
so it covers
and the infrastructure
all the infrastructure and the bridges and the rocks we got, man.
Yeah, exactly, and the lift stations and the water stations that we have. So there's a lot of needs on the infrastructure, so we need more taxpayers to pay for that. Yeah. So that's why we're trying to create economic opportunities, right? Yeah. And there's lots happening in the city, right? We're actually our unemployment rate is below the provincial average, below the Canadian average. So we're in a good spot.
So it's funny because I do want to touch on that real quick, but I do want to mention. As it comes to that, when it comes to, that's it. Thank you. The mentioning like they're taking our jobs. Yeah, I've shut down probably 4 or 5 people, because we talked earlier about things, and like I've shut down a lot of people who say, "Oh, they're taking our jobs." I'm like, it's not a lack of jobs out there issue. It's a skill issue, and I was like, I don't have that issue. I work full time for myself, and I've never been busier.
There you go.
And I'm like, we have skills. We have skills to offer. I have a lot of friends like that. However, the flip side to that though is, I had our unemployment rate for students, like youth. Yes. That's the downside to it, because. The thing with that I've seen is like I've hired students because they're like, I said. Like to family or relatives, and I said, hey, if you can't find anything in a few weeks, let me know. Yeah. Right? And they all message me after. They're like, all these people are taking these, like, the base, in their mind, they see it, at least for the youth, they see it as people are coming in and taking the bottom, like, baseline jobs, the non-skilled jobs, per se, right? For,
But often those are also students. That are in our city as well. Yeah. Right? Those are students that are here and that they have a work visa that they can certainly take some.
But their parents don't pay. Their parents wouldn't be paying taxes. Where
no,
it's
but
like,
they're paying.
They have the kids.
I fully agree.
It's a weird one.
It is, because at the same time though they're paying international tuition fees. To our post-secondary institutions that are making those survive. And they're creating jobs. As well. But now, what I'll tell you this.
It's like a who first.
And it's weird. It's the pressure point's been worse in the last. I'd say last year was probably the worst summer.
And you mentioned too, like it's been a lot more than.
Yeah,
like you said.
But I think I'm very confident in the upcoming budget as well, the federal budget as well as, and they're coming up there'll be a lot more candidates to the summer jobs coming up. There'll be a lot more for students, and I think next summer they'll be addressing a lot more of those opportunities for summer students.
Oh, really?
For students
it's good.
during the summer, as well as at the city. We actually have a program for youth entrepreneurs that you could people that want to apply. I think between the ages of 16 and 20 something.
Yeah, I was like, I know it's low to mid 20s.
Yeah, and then what basically, if you have a business, we will support you in your business. Well, actually, there's actually some funding available, and we're seeing some great success.
There's good funding available too.
Exactly. So some young entrepreneurs that want to get going with business that are students.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunities as well. So I think outside the box.
Yep.
And
I'll push that on some of them.
Yeah,
I'll push that on some of them.
If you're creative, you have something new. Look at this. Obviously, go see the city website.
Yeah.
There's information
and you guys have the regional bit, like the center, right?
Exactly.
Like you guys have those.
Exactly, it's
awesome.
all there. So that to me, there's a great opportunities there. Canada Summer Jobs will be. So I think there's solutions here.
Yeah.
But to me, it's just not in Sudbury that we're seeing some the youth unemployment rates being, and actually we also heard that again in the federal government budget saying they address it. There's something here that we need to do. So I think we're going to see that will drastically improve over the next year.
And I think to your to something you mentioned, I don't want to say like to your point as if you said it right, putting words in people's mouths, but. You mentioned you're like, and I think this is what I gather from what you just said, where it's too many people too quickly.
Yeah. And I don't control that, right?
No,
we don't control that.
At like a small, provincial, and then federal level, municipal,
Yeah, and that's why it's put pressure also on our vacancy rate for apartments.
Yes.
It's crazy right now, right? But that I really see that slowing down. Our vacancy rate.
It seemed to.
Yeah, it seemed even the last 6 months. And I think we're going to see it going.
From the top down,
Yeah, we're going to, right now, vacancy rates at 1%. We were below 1%, which is not healthy. Healthy, you want 2 to 3% easy.
Yeah.
Probably 3% is where you want to be.
Especially with more people, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, and but there's going to be opportunity. Right now, what I'm seeing on the horizon for big investments happening in our city to create jobs here, there's lots happening. And really good paying jobs that will trickle down and certainly put pressure on the housing stock. That means more housing will be built.
Yeah.
So good. I'm confident we're going to reach our targets, but we need to make sure that the housing follows.
Yeah.
But I know that there's a lot of contractors and developers that are just waiting to see these investments happening a bit more. 100 jobs here, 200 jobs, 200 jobs there.
Bit more proof,
exactly.
Jump on it.
Yeah, exactly. And they're going to outlay the capital to make sure, because they need to de-risk their investments.
They do.
So that's going to happen.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. That's good. I was really curious about that. That was the one.
On the eg dev side, economic development side, we are thriving. There's lots of momentum in Sudbury right now. And we're very fortunate because we're the hub as much as on the healthcare side, but also on the mining side. Right? So a lot of mining supply companies that are here, they're expanding. There's lots of jobs in that skilled trades that you talked about.
Very much so, yeah.
Those individuals that are arriving often have jobs in the skilled trades that we need much, much more of.
And what's crazy too, because of the, like you said, like I'll use the term like the pressure points, or like there's so many people all at once, and like eventually it'll like it works, and it sounds like sooner and later, which is great. The thing that I noticed is because I didn't, just in case people cancel, I've gotten a habit of not telling anybody who's really coming on the podcast. So it makes sense, right? I'm like, you're a busy guy. Things might happen, right? You know, you got family, all this stuff. So I'm like, people cancel, happens, things, whatever, move on. But what happened is, I told maybe 2-3 people, right? I had girlfriend, a couple family members, whatever. I got a bunch of messages, and it was all ask about work. Can't find work, unemployment stuff, kids can't find work, or like, and again, I think I told them, I did say, I had, it was funny, I had this employee working for me this summer, right? You'll get a kick out of this, I promise. And he was a student, and I asked, his older sister is working, right? She was like 20, she wasn't working, and I was like, hey, so-and-so working. He's like, no, she hasn't found a job yet. And I was like, oh. Well, like, is she like hitting the pavement? Is she applying? Like, what's it? And he's like, yeah. And then it was quiet for a second. I was like, oh, that sucks. And he's like, yeah. It's quiet for a second. He goes, yeah, it's all these like immigrants taking our jobs. And I go, don't do that. And he's like, what? Right? Because again, he's like a 16-year-old student, right? One of the employees had. He's like 16. And he's like, what? Right? And I was like confronting him. I'm like, oh man. And so he's like, what? And I'm like, anybody walked on the site and told you to kick rocks because, like, are they stealing your job? Like, no. I'm like, we don't have this problem. Stop putting that out there. I'm like, stop using that as an excuse for a lack of skill or just being lazy. Right? So I was like, that was my conversation with him. That's
interesting. Like I said, I think this summer has been the most difficult summer for summer students. I see myself. I have my kids are 24, 20, and 18. right?
Yeah, they're in that sweet spot.
And I have nephews and nieces that are even younger than that, and they're friends, right?
Yeah.
So I see those challenges that those students that were trying to get a job, a summer job. Before it was easy.
It was
easier. And what happened was during COVID, they were desperate for people, and that has kind of slowed down. Right, so those type of jobs have slowed down because before it was like help wanted everywhere.
That's
right?
And we literally what I wanted to mention.
And we couldn't find people to fill those jobs.
Yeah.
And now there's a bit of a slowdown. So I guess.
And now we're complaining because there's none. And it's like,
well, we're no, but they're complaining saying
you know.
And there's now we're kind of blaming a sector of our population. And what I say is, I think it's not fair to them. They're brought in here basically to come and study. And they're also coming here, and they're trying to find work. Yeah. At the same time,
and they all do work.
Exactly. But again, I'm not here to disparage the parents and the kids that are saying, I'm trying to find a summer job. I think this summer, like I said, the municipality doesn't control a lot of that. It's more the feds and the province to a certain extent. But we will do everything to create that space for these jobs to have in the summer jobs. So I think we're going to see a lot more festivals, a lot more things happening over summer. Yeah. Hopefully these students can have access to those jobs.
And they look and they do their research and they see job bulletins because there are.
Yeah, there are. So I would encourage people to also, like you said, to look at certainly the job fairs that are out there. Yep. And we're encouraging to do much more summer student job fairs as well of what's out there.
That's awesome, yeah.
Because then we can go somewhere. Because when I was the member of parliament and I did the Canada Summer Jobs, I would also organize a summer job fair. Right in May, early May, saying these are all the jobs out there. Come over here, right? Bring your resumes, and you know what? We would connect a lot of students with jobs.
And if not even working for you, you go.
No, it wasn't for me. It was just in general, right? For the whole population, for the whole city.
But I mean, if somebody's say coming to you, you're like, well, maybe not me, but hey, I actually have a friend that you might be perfect for, or like they might like your vibe, stuff like that. Yeah. Interesting. I like that. I was curious. I was very curious.
Well, we need to support because I think it's also experience, right? These students need that experience. Yeah. And I'm all for that. That's why again, summer jobs is or student jobs is key. And we're gonna keep pushing to create that space to make it happen.
That's cool. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Yeah, I really like that. That's one of all of the things we've talked about so far that I'm like I get fired up on. Yeah. Because I'm like again. Only thing people messaged me about.
Yeah, really interesting. Okay, well, that's good to hear.
People like, hey, my kids, mention unemployment with youth, not in general.
Yeah, no, it's
youth, right?
Youth. Yeah.
And that was and just again, some of them working for me. No adults complained about it, but okay, that was
that's a good take back.
That was a curious. I was like, but I like that. It sounds like it's going in the right direction sooner and later, which is it's good. So. Switching gears a bit,
sure.
Kind of before we, before I give you like the red carpet moment to say your piece before we go. I'm always curious when it comes to politicians at every level, and I have this discussion often with friends, even before, like you coming on here, and like we talk about with politicians making mistakes, and then we talk about it's everything's in the news. You doing everything right. Is like people do. Sorry, I shouldn't say you personally, but all politicians doing everything right to please everybody is just it doesn't happen. It's impossible. It's impossible, right? So it's not going to happen. So with that being said, I'm like every time, but the job is almost like it's perceived that way, where it's like